Okay. Thank you very much, Miracle. I hope everyone can hear me. Hello, everyone, and thank you for signing up for our webinar. I hope you've had a wonderful week like me. I had a wonderful week, extremely busy, but busy is good if you're being productive. So without further ado, I'd like to start by introducing myself. For those of you who don't know me or you did not have the time to check in the link that we sent to you, my name is Dr. Yinka Opeke, and I'm the CEO of Smart Gas. We're a technology company operating in the oil and gas downstream sector. And we operate, of course, out of Nigeria. We essentially are into cooking gas, which we call LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. So we do the LPG logistics, we sell cylinders, we have a mobile app, we supply hotels, restaurants, and then we just recently started conversion of PMS generators to LPG and so many other things. And we also have another company in the US called Trade Expo Africa. I'm the CEO and founder operating out of Houston, Texas. And we're into international trade between the US and Africa, hence our interest in the export sector. I would like to start by saying that this session is recorded and we'll be sharing it with everyone who is going to participate in this program. So let me start by introducing our very special speaker. And I would like everybody to come with their jotters because our speaker is popularly known as the export king. But before I go into that, I'm sure everybody understands the importance of diversifying our portfolio, diversifying our income. The government is talking about the importance of, going away or shifting a bit of attention from the oil and gas sector into non-oil exports. And that is what Mr. Bamidele is going to delve into today to talk about the opportunities, the export processes, and so many other things that, you would like to take out from this. And he's supposed to present for about 40 to 45 minutes. I would like us to leave about 20 minutes for questions. And he will tell you the format that he prefers, whether you should ask the questions while he's doing the presentation or after, so that is led to him. But we will make sure that, so please leave all your questions in the chat box. We definitely will not be able to go into everything export in 1 hour. And we're trying to keep to 1 hour because we know that we're respecting your time. So even if we overshoot, maybe by 5 or 10 minutes, bear with us. But the more important thing is for you to be able to contact him. He has written several books on export, how to find buyers, and he has hands-on experiences on products, commodities, and so many other things. So please, would like you to stay tuned. And so I'll tell you let me give you a brief intro from his maybe 10 or 15 pager resume. We have managed to squeeze it. And Mr. Bamidele Ayemibo, famously referred to as the export king, is a distinguished, renowned expert in terms of international trade and business development. He is the author of 7 trade books, an international business coach, and a keynote speaker. As an influential AFTA ambassador, that's Africa Continental Free Trade Area, that's what that's called. It stands out in the field of international trade and finance education across Africa. Serving as the lead consultant at 3T Impex Consulting Limited, which is a prominent trade consulting firm, he is a significant contributor to the trade organization, serving on the board of trustees and the executive council of the network of non-oil exporters of Nigeria. He's highly sought after international trade finance trainer for organizations such as Fidelity Bank, the Central Bank, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, First Bank, FCMB, Access Bank, Wema Bank, Heritage Bank, and EcoBank. So on this note, I would like to invite Mr. Bamidele to take the floor. And I look forward, to learning and sharing with every other person.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for joining. I'm hoping this will be an interesting session rather for every one of us. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. non-export sector, the case for economic diversity. There's no better time to talk about this than now. And the more we talk about this, probably, the more people will come in. Probably, the more we'll be able to grow the non-export volume in Nigeria. Dollar is nearing 1,000, if not already 1,000. And there's nothing on the horizon that will hinder it from going further beyond 1,000. As in, there's nothing serious we are doing right now that can say, okay, it will increase FX inflow in the short or long term. So if we are going to be able to reduce the impact of the challenge we currently face in our country as far as export is concerned, then this conversation needs to happen, and it has to happen as frequently as possible on different platforms because we need it more than ever before. We've talked about this several times. I mean, this has been on for many years, but I think we need it more now than ever. If you think we need it before, I think we need it a lot now. Now, I will start by talking about why I think you need to consider export. It helps us to avoid over-dependence, particularly state of Nigeria on federal allocation. It boosts the GDP of the country. Most countries with the highest GDP in the world are predominantly exporters. US, Netherlands, China, UK, Japan, Germany, they are all major exporters. It helps to create opportunity for SME to grow, help in decreasing dependence on domestic market. It helps in earning export proceeds and grow revenue. In fact, it helps a manufacturer to diversify revenue such that if there is an issue in your economy, you can actually rely on other economy around the world where you sell to be able to generate revenue, particularly if there is a recession in your economy, which is why for those that think, oh, I've not even met the demand in the domestic market, why will I be thinking of export? That's why I feel that's not a very good argument, because you don't know when anything can happen in the local economy that can affect your business. So you don't need to have been able to meet demand locally for you to think of export. Why? Because it just diversifies your source of revenue and income. So if there's an issue in the domestic economy, either because of the economic issue or because of competition, whatever it is, you have option for sale, earning export process and growing revenue. Farming and rural land become more lucrative because Africa is largely agro economy. So if we are able to produce more commodity and process for export, we're going to increase opportunity for farmers. It also helps nations to gain global recognition and market share. It makes a nation to become home of creativity and innovation. It's an industrial catalyst for the country. It's a job creation opportunity for youth. It helps the country to know what they have as competitive advantage. It helps the country to also lead for other nations to follow. It makes your business to be independent of local market. Numerous incentives for exporters. Numerous incentives for exporters. For example, you don't pay VAT on your export proceeds. You don't pay company income tax. You don't pay VAT on your export proceeds. You don't pay company income tax. And you don't pay export duty. Opportunity to maximize Nigerian citizens abroad. It's a poverty. It's helped in eradicating poverty because of growth in businesses as a result of new market and creating jobs. It can help Nigeria to keep the lead of nations depending on wasting assets like oil. It can help in reviving the economy of the state. It can slow down rural urban migration because of opportunity created in the villages or in the rural areas. There's tax opportunity for exporter, utilization of idle capacity of the company for companies that have not fully utilized their capacity. It also helps to increase the viability of economy of a nation. It's a well-created opportunity for the citizen, help us to extract the product found in the country, yearn for more improvement because of competition and zero in on an area of strength. Look at this chart. This chart is showing the sources of foreign exchange inflow to many economies. Foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment, trading goods, trading services, remittances, and others. You see the foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment, and remittances? We don't have control over it. We only have control over trading goods and trading services. We have control over trading goods and trading services. And these are the sources of foreign exchange for any nation. Now, if we do not control the one we have control over, which is trading goods and trading services, what will happen is that we will see the depreciation of the currency in domestic economy, because there will always be import. People will need to take money out. So if there is not enough money coming in, it's just like cash flow. A business needs money. Money must come in for you to use money. If the money does not come in, you cannot use it. So if there are inflow coming in for foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment, the people that want to import have enough to be able to pay for their importation. When the people that bring in the investment want to take it out, other people are bringing in investment, and then from that they can take it out. So it enhances the cash flow in the country. But for us right now, trading goods is likely dependent on oil. Trading services are the two major sources of generating forex. So basically saying we need to increase export of goods and export of services if we are going to be able to improve the value of Naira vis-a-vis other currencies of the world. Just to put in perspective, the red chart is portfolio investment. The black is foreign direct investment. Do you notice from 2000 till date how they've all declined? That's been the challenge in our country. So people are not bringing in money. In fact, our election and the aftermath contributed to it. The fact that many airlines still have their money in Nigeria and they can't pull it out contribute to it. So there's so many people that need to pull their money out, but they can't pull it out yet because of the current issues we have with FX. So many people are not bringing in enough FX. So we need to grow the export volume of the country. As a last year, exports in Nigeria was 67.3. Nigeria is number 3 in Africa. We used to be number 2 after South Africa, but now we're number 3 behind Algeria. Now we're number 3 behind Algeria. If you look at this chart, it also shows one of the major challenges we have, and that is the contribution of the non-oil export sector to the Nigerian economy. The contribution is very, very low. Can you see, as at Q1, it was 10%. As at Q1, it was 10%. That's a challenge. If you check, a number of other economies in Africa, what you see is different. You see something that is relatively balanced. But in Nigeria, there's overdependence on crude oil. Look at it. Crude oil and gas, 85%. Sorry, 90%. 90%. More than 80%, sorry. 71 plus 9. More than 80%, about 85%. Crude oil and gas. Next is urea. Then you have cocoa. You will notice on this list, they only manufacture goods. Maybe cigarettes and maybe alloy, value add. Predominantly commodities. Predominantly commodities. They agreed that we mainly export cocoa sesame, cashew, cocoa butter, coconut, ginger, frozen shrimps, and soya beans. These are the major items of export. These are the major in terms of agro-commodities. In terms of agro-commodities, where does Nigeria export to? You can see where we export to. Spain, Netherlands, India, Indonesia, US, France, Italy, Saudi Arabia, Ivory Coast, and Canada. What do we export? Beyond what I've shown before, this gives a global view of the non-oil export, from cocoa to rolled tobacco, to cocoa butter, oily seed, coconut, Brazil nut, cashew, spices, soya beans, gold, raw lead, raw aluminum, national fertilizer, cranes, tan hides, crustaceans, wood charcoal, rubber. This gives an idea of all the Nigeria export. May also give you an idea of what you can export. Also give you an idea of what you can export. You know, recently we started doing a video on our YouTube channel, DBA TV and Voice of African Trade. And what we're doing on that channel is to show actually the product that Nigeria currently exports, to give you an idea of what you also can export. To give you an idea of what you also can export. And you will find out that there's so much that Nigeria currently exports, at so many, I think there's so much. In fact, the beauty is, if Nigerian already export to a destination, meaning you can also export similar products to the same destination. And we have always advocated that if you are exporting, you should be exporting to a country where you have a representative. So if Nigeria already exports, for example, PET bottles, waste plastic bottles, to a particular country which Nigeria already exports, or, you know, there's this glass. You know, Nigeria has Zycon sand. I just discovered recently, Nigeria is producing a lot of reflective glass. You know, you see a lot of building nowadays, the glass between the aluminum windows and doors. Those glasses, the different colors, are produced in Nigeria. And Nigeria is exporting it massively to different countries. The idea is you don't need to be the producer of what you are exporting. You don't need to be the manufacturer of what you are exporting. You just need to be able to partner with whoever is producing, and they can produce for you in your brand. And you can check, what does Nigeria export to this country? You can work with Nigerians in those destinations to be able to get the buyers in those destinations. So maybe what you should do is, rather than saying, oh, I want to export this product, why don't you look for countries where Nigerian currently export to, and you have a representative? That makes your life a lot easier, because now you'll be working with individuals who also will be interested in having, you should have, give you commission, so you can do the legwork, finding out who are those that import that particular product in that country, so that you can also work with them. That will mean like working from question, from answer to question. Agro-commodity, dry ginger, sesame seed, hibiscus flower, ginger, gum arabic, shea nut, groundnut, cashew nut, garlic, yam, soya beans, cocoa mead crop and main crop, rubber, and coffee. Just give you an idea of different products exported from Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria does not allow you to export the following product: maize, timber, raw hide and skin, unprocessed rubber latex and rubber lump, artifact and antiquities, scrap metals, wildlife, and wildlife classified as endangered species, and all imported goods. All imported goods are not allowed for export. The process: Now, how do I go about it? How do I go about it? Number one, preparation. My emphasis on preparation is on the issue of readiness. If you have tried to export and you find it difficult, most likely there is a readiness criteria you have not sorted out. And I'll show you the 15 readiness criteria very soon. Most likely there's a particular readiness criteria you are yet to sort out. If you are ready, it will be easy for you to be able to do the business. For example, many people talk about finding buyers. There are different options available for you to find buyers. If you don't have the understanding of what to do, then what is important is for you to get the knowledge about the options, both online and offline. It will cost some money, no doubt. It will cost some money, no doubt. But the fact is that you can make it happen. For example, you can get data of those importing your product in a particular country and then work with a representative in that particular country to reach out to them. Do not reach out to potential buyer abroad from Nigeria. Don't do it. The chance that they will not listen to you is very, very high. I'm basically saying that if you have delay in any area on the chain, it's a sign of lack of readiness, which is why preparation, I think, is the most important thing. Sincerely, if you are well prepared, sorting out all other issues on the way become a lot easier. And I'll talk about those readiness criteria very soon. Pre-promotion. So after being ready, assessing readiness criteria, ensuring that you get requisite knowledge and relationship, not just knowledge, and relationship, network, to fix those areas. For example, having a credible source of supply. If you're a manufacturer, credible source of supply of the raw material. If you're a merchant, credible source of supply of the product, because some people actually get buyer, but they are unable to ship, or they did the first shipment, they are unable to do the second shipment because they didn't think of the fact that I might have order I will not be able to meet. Meaning I need a credible buyer, a supplier, and I need to raise funding to be able to do that shipment. Preparation. Preparation. Promotion. Promotion, like I said, is so critical. That's getting the buyer. And there are a lot of options available to you on this. If you are having issue regarding this, you can get the Eureka Pack. We actually, because we are aware of the fact that many people complain about getting buyer, we have to put together a pack that basically explains to you how to find buyer. Purchasers, purchase orders, that's signing the agreement. Immediately you have the buyer, then get the agreement signed. After signing the agreement, procurement or production, depending on whether you are the owner of the goods or you are the manufacturer or you're procuring either commodity, cocoa, cashew, ginger, or finished goods, processed agro product or manufactured goods. Then packaging and labeling, depending on the requirement of the buyer. Then the pre-export documentation. Then the pre-export documentation, which involves NXP, pro forma invoice, getting your export license, registering with Nigeria's Promotion Council, paying your next fee, and the like. And then you have the port clearance through the port. Then you have post-export documentation, which basically involves the shipping document, bill of lading, invoice, packing list, and then presentation of document either to the buyer or to the buyer's rep for payment, and post-import documentation, and then payment, and then payment. This is the summary of the process. The first two are the most critical. First two, getting ready and being able to promote your product. It's a lot of work, no doubt about it, but getting ready, I think, is the most important issue that we have in Nigeria today. I did a study on this, and I found out that in that study, about 120 businesses were sampled. About 3 to 4% of those businesses were ready. 66% were almost ready. Almost ready means I've been able to do 1 or 2 transactions, but I've not been able to do others since then. I've been able to do 1 or 2 transactions, but I've not been able to do others since then. Or today is up, tomorrow is down. Those are signs of lack of export readiness. I'll talk about that more later on. Purchaser. Now, look at the option I talked about. In finding buyers, here are your options. You can use social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. These are very powerful tools. What you need, if you don't have your way around it, ensure you get a digital marketer to work with. But before you do this, you should have an overseas sales rep at destination plus a website. You should have a very good website and a rep. Any market you want to enter, try to get a rep. The reason why many people are not exporting successfully and sustainably is because of this issue. B2B portal. Instead of, apart from using social media, you can export B2B portals. B2B trade portals are like Global Buyers Online, Trade Key, Alibaba.com, Go Forward Business, where buyers and sellers meet. Database company. Acting database company is expensive, but it seems to be the easiest. Why? With database company, you can buy data of people who currently import your product and work with a representative to prospect them. Of course, your product quality must be right, the pricing must be right. By the time your rep is prospecting them, the sample of your product should be in the export market. So that by the time they say, okay, can we have a sample? You can tell them he will send it tomorrow. You will tell them, oh, it's coming from Africa. You will tell them he'll send it tomorrow because the sample is already with the representative before it begins to call the prospective buyer in the export market. International trade fair, very expensive, but it's worth it, particularly if you will be able to get the people you are looking for in that market. It's worth it. I can assure you it's worth it. You know, when you meet people one-on-one, there is a way it's just, you can connect and find it easy to work with each other. You can easily connect when you meet people one-on-one. And that's the kind of opportunity you get to have when you go for trade fair. And there's one happening in Houston in October by Fidelity Bank. International trade fairs, partners, having overseas partners. I cannot overemphasize it. I cannot overemphasize it. In fact, I think the major challenge that many SMEs that want to go into export have, having a partner is the most valuable factor for success in the export market. Either the partner is an overseas sales rep, independent, dealing with different people, not you, or overseas subsidiary. When you partner with a company to work with that company as a partner, that means you set up an entity in which you have a share and they have a share, and you both together promoting the product market. Or you set up a branch, sales branch, overseas sales branch. That is what Dangote does in almost every market. It's only in South Africa I found out he does overseas subsidiary, where he partner. In other market, for big organization, that's what they do. Now, so Dangote will not find it difficult to export because before he enter the market, he will go and set up a branch. So he doesn't need to be looking for buyer because the branch there already connect to distributor. The branch is the one that we import and distribute. So that's the kind of thinking we should be having to be able to make export successful. You have siblings, children, friends, relatives, allies abroad. You can form a partnership that will make your export business a success. What will this representative do? It can be your consignee representing you as a buyer who will take the goods and then distribute. It can help you resolve the issue of payment method. You won't have to worry about payment when you have representative because the good goes straight to them. Number 3, service charge. They will be paid. So you need to factor in their commission. Document handling. They can receive document for you, hand document and deliver to the buyer. Payment default risk. Having a representative help you mitigate payment default risk. Marketing at destination. You don't need to be worried about the market. In fact, your worry is how to get the goods from your own country. Growth potential. Growth potential is very high because you can have 2, 3, 4 buyers because of the marketing effort rep and destination. Control of the market. Overseas sales rep help you to control, help to have control over the market. And of course, debt recovery. When there are issues, it becomes easier to follow up for debt recovery at the export market and destination inspection. Sometimes there might be a second leg of inspection at the destination, and your representative can make that happen. Now, export readiness. Export readiness. What does it mean to be export ready? Export readiness can be defined as a multifaceted concept that involves the ability of a company to successfully enter the export market, not just enter, sustainably compete. And that is what happens. People are able to successfully enter, they are not able to continue. They can't compete. They are not able to do second, third, fourth, fifth shipment. Sustainably compete and significantly grow its market share to become established in the export market. Export readiness, the preparation. That is the major challenge. If you are on this call today and you're interested in export, note that this is what you will have to contend with. If you fix this issue, to be easier for you to be able to export, not just successfully, but also sustainably. If you fix the issue of being ready. The question then is, how do you become ready? Or rather, what are the export readiness factors? How do you get ready? How do you become ready? What are the export readiness factors that you need to consider to be able to assess yourself, assess your readiness? I just dropped a link on the chart. That link gives you access to do a free export readiness assessment of your business. It gives you access to be able to do a free export readiness assessment of your business. And then you get a report free of charge. It gives you an idea. Because of this issue, my PhD was on this. And that's why I had to sample Nigerian businesses to see what exactly, having been in the sector for almost 2 decades, what exactly is the issue that makes businesses not be able to export? And this is what I found out. Look at what I found out. Delays, demurrage, discrepancies, debt, dropout, depth of knowledge, and defective goods are all signs of lack of export readiness. They are all signs of lack of export readiness. The 30 minutes, is it for presentation of question and answer? Let me know my...
No, it's for presentation. I was just going to...
all right.
I can see a hand raised up. Please, for all questions, put in the Q&A section for questions.
If you want to speak, when we round up, you can speak. Okay, so delay, demurrage, discrepancy, debt, dropout are people who have done it, but they have not been able to continue. Then debt of knowledge and defective goods. These are all signs that the business is not ready. And when this happens, frequently, not once, not twice, almost all the time, you have this issue, it's a sign something is wrong fundamentally. And any kind of delay, including delay in getting buyer, promoter need to be ready. The product needs to be ready. The pricing needs to be ready. The staff predisposition needs to be ready. The purpose for doing the business. Don't do export because you need money to take care of immediate needs. It won't work. It won't work. Take care of immediate need? No way. It should be because it will take a while for you to stabilize and be able to take care of immediate needs. Purpose. Why are you going in? If it's to make money, there are so many options to make money locally. So many options. So probably explore that, not export. But if what is driving you is to put your product on the global stage, is to be able to increase, have a market share abroad, is to be able to generate forex to fund import transaction because you need to import machinery or you need to import raw material. That's a strong purpose. Capacity. Promotion. You must be ready to promote. You must be ready in terms of skill proficiency. You must be ready in terms of production capacity. You might need to have synergy with others to make this happen. You must be ready in terms of understanding payment options and raising funding to pay your local supplier. You must be ready in terms of positioning. That means the product you want to sell already have demand locally. The country, you must be ready in terms of understanding the people who are the consumer abroad. You must be ready in terms of understanding regulatory requirements for the product, paperwork, documentation. You must be ready in terms of potential of the product, the market, and you must be ready in terms of purchaser and partnership. Let me just run through this as I close. The promoter is the owner, experience in exportation, understanding export process, ready to commit resources, export skill and competence. The product, that's the item of export, quality specification, unique characteristics, suitable packaging, sophistication involved in production. Pricing, which involve the cost of goods, local raw materials, economy of scale, low freight cost, and low raw material cost. Predisposition of staff, the staff either work or school abroad, or understand the export market, or at least have knowledge of export. Purpose, reason for export, desire to go global, foreign exchange issue, desire for government incentive, or survival strategy. You know, sometimes there's a challenge in the local market. An export market might be the source of sustaining the business. At that time, it becomes a lot easier to put in all effort to be ready to make the business work because the survival of the business depends on the export market. How about the capacity category? Payment, getting funding or getting paid. Ability to get funding, asset for collateral, ability to secure payment, and managing payment risk. Production, meeting market demand, excess or idle capacity, contract manufacturing, readily available stock, handle demand surge. Proficiency, skill and competence, identify and manage risk, handle export dynamics, handle trade instrument, research and development for market demand. Promotion, increasing awareness, capacity for foreign trade mission, access to market intelligence, understanding market segment, and being able to reach the consumers. Positioning, goodwill and heritage, high local market share, unsolicited order, established local market, indirect partner abroad. Potential, market opportunity, no market size, no being able to know the market location, know the market with high demand, and even the trend and how ready, and know the ready buyers market. Documentation, handle pre and post, import and export documentation, reviewing document, processing document, and avoiding discrepancies. Consumers, knowing the what, the who, the why, the when, who are the buyer, what do they buy, when do they buy, how do they buy, where do they buy, which option do they buy. Purchasers, agent and distributor, knowing the right entry strategy, understanding distribution option, access to wholesalers, and handle distribution challenges. And then, lastly, partner, service providers who provide either as a sales rep or legal services, or be able to set up joint venture or access to other consultants that you might require in the export market. By the time you do the assessment, you are either export ready 90 to 100% is a sign of being positioned for sustainable export, or you're almost ready. 70 to 89%, almost positioned for sustainable export business. You can start exporting, but you need to fix this new area. Not fixing it is the reason why people start and unable to continue after a while.
Okay.
Midway to ready, 50 to 69%. Midway to positioning for sustainable export business. Have a long way to go, but should not start export, but focus on export readiness. Just starting, 10 to 40%. Preparing to start, 0 to 29%. To participate in export as a round-off, you can be a passive exporter, you can be an active exporter. As a passive exporter, you are export professional supporting exporter or investing in export. As an active exporter, you are either a service exporter or a product exporter. As a product exporter, you are either a commodity exporter or manufactured goods exporters. I've talked about Eureka Pack. You can get a copy of the pack. The pack have 27 videos and 2 manuals to help you to get ready and also to be able to find buyers abroad. We have an export coaching program to hold you as you start, and we have an export novice to export legend program, a mentoring program. And if you have product you want to export, we can help you with our forwarding services, being able to clear the good for you at the port and ship it abroad. As I conclude, I would like to stress the need for reasonable and regular investment in trade education by exporting companies in order to be export ready, so as to prevent each free export documentation process, hassle-free export clearance process, and ECO-free export payment process. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
I need
much.
to because
Thank you.
time.
Thank you, Mr. Bamidele. That's one thing about him. Everybody would understand when you say passion. Mr. Bamidele is passionate about exports, but like I said, he walks the talk. And beyond this, I would like each and every one of us to connect with him. Those of you who want to further the conversation from here. Mr. Bamidele, can you go to your last slide? I think that has your contact details. Can you put that up for them? But we have 2 questions now. So there's one person that said, just want to understand how we can mitigate risk due to default by customer. What are the solutions? What kind of insurance do we need and who can provide it? That's one.
All right. I have 4 options for you. Number 1 is to use a letter of credit. You can read more about letter of credit. We don't have time for that. But you can follow us on DBA TV, Dr. Bamidele Ayemibo, DBA TV, or Voice of African Trade. I've recorded the video for this question, the 5 answers, and I'm going to be posting it in a week or 2 on our YouTube channel. But let me just mention them. I won't be able to explain because of time. You can use letter of credit. You can use standby letter of credit. You can use demand guarantee. You can use counter guarantee. And lastly, representative at destination. Representative at destination. That's why I said, do not export to a market where you do not have a representative. Do not. It doesn't make sense unless you have a guarantee form of payment. What kind of insurance? Okay, last one, export credit insurance. I'm talking to the people, some people in presidency. Nigeria need to have export credit insurance. I hope they listen. I'm talking to different people to see how Nigeria can have export credit insurance. Nexim should have this product. If you have this insurance, because the government can easily follow up through bilateral relationship and get that payment in that country. And they can insure. UK is doing it. Many countries are doing it. So export credit insurance is insurance you can take up. But currently, Nexim Bank does not offer that service, even though it's on their side that they do it, but they've not activated it. Okay. Someone said, what is the best payment option in export trade? And how do we know fake or fraudulent buyer in the international market? To know fake or fraudulent buyer, let your rep do due diligence. Get a rep to do due diligence. Can you see? We're going back to having a representative. Your rep will do due diligence. Your rep will do due diligence. okay, recently we had a client that want to do a shipment to UAE, and the rep had to go to their office in the UAE. Doing due diligence is critical. The rep can do that job, and you pay him for his service. What is the payment best option? Best option is to have a letter of credit, but not all buyers will give you a letter of credit. Not all buyers will give you a letter of credit.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So I think I'll ask you one more question. So to summarize the seminar, the webinar, what will be the takeout? Give us a takeout from the webinar to summarize everything.
The takeout is that before you commence your journey in export, try as much as possible to evaluate your business, to know the area of deficiency, and fix that area of deficiency based on the assessment report before you start. If you fix it, you will find it a lot easier to make the business a success.
All right. Thank you for that. Another thing I would like to add to that is education. You know, people say you can never rise above your level of information.
Sorry. When you know the area, it might mean you need to go and learn. I'm trying to emphasize what you are saying. Yes. It might mean, for example, from all the questions I've seen here, you need to go and learn about payment method and how to mitigate risk in export business. That's a sign. These questions are signs that there's a lack of understanding in understanding payment method. If you realize it came out as issue of promotion or getting buyer or contract, you go and learn how to find buyers. So the report is to let you know what are the areas I need to go and acquire skill and build capacity, like Okeke was saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, another thing I'd like to say is the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. They are the federal regulatory agency in terms of exports. It's also nice for you to join them. You can also join your local chambers of commerce, because all these places, they're always doing webinars, events, they're always having conferences, different things, you know, in the export space and different spaces. And likewise, people like Mr. Bamidele, they are there for you. Another thing I say about the export business is it can't be like your main business. Maybe you don't have any supplementary business, just want to start with exports and you're thinking it's all about the dollars. I say that because I see that all the time. I hear that all the time. It's important for you to manage your expectations, you know, and then grow into it, because there will be some bottlenecks that there's really nothing much you can do about them. So it's very important for you to have a strategy towards entering the international market. But for me, the takeout is education. Keep educating yourself, you know, and position yourself while we're waiting for every other external factor, you know, to get in line. So for us in Trade Expo Africa, I would also like to say that I put a link there. There are two links that I have put there: the export readiness that Mr. Bamidele talked about, where you can do a self-assessment. That's one. And then we have the Trade Expo Africa website, which is our own e-commerce website in the US, whereby we sell products. We are pretty much an Amazon for African business. For those of you who already have export-ready products, you are free to be a vendor on that site. It's a multi-vendor e-commerce site in the US, and it is to service the US market. You can be an exporter from anywhere in the world, anywhere in Africa. If you have family, back to what Mr. Bamidele said, in terms of having representation abroad, you can send samples of your products there and then open an account, a vendor account or a merchant account on our e-commerce platform and sell your products on that platform. It's free of charge for you to sign up. And that's one of the channels that we talked about. He also talked about attending fairs, conferences. Fidelity Bank is doing one in Houston in October, I think on the 25th or 26th, I'm not sure, but part of what I said about information, I think for those of us who can attend it is really worth attending, because they're going with a lot of partnerships and collaborations with the mayor's office, with the US commercial department, you know, with quite a number of agencies, you know, to make, and they're doing it at the George Brown Center. For them to do it there, trust me, it's a big event and it's worth going, you know. So depending on the market that you're looking at, it's important for you to get information in those markets. So I think that if we don't have any more questions, I think that we might start rounding up the webinar. We're going to send you our feedback form in a few minutes. Please take the time, probably just 5 questions. Take the time to assess our webinar, because when we get the feedback from you, it allows us to do better. It allows us to know what other areas that you'll be interested in. You know, being an oil and gas person and an export person, I typically would choose topics in those 2 areas, and then generally in business, you know. So would like you to give us your feedback on what you think about our timing, our content, our presenter, and any other thing that you'd like to share with us. And on a final note, I would like to thank our hosts, Mr. Bamidele, and everyone who took the time to be a part of this webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you have found it very useful and resourceful, and would like you to run with whatever information that we have given you. So on that note, I would like to wish everybody a restful weekend.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, and God bless.